This is not just a conflict between two nations.
It's a clash of history, religion, identity, and survival.
To understand why Israel and much of the Muslim world remain in opposition,
we must go back in time before the formation of Israel, before the wars, and even before colonial powers shaped the modern Middle East.
For centuries,
the region we now call Israel and Palestine was part of the Ottoman Empire.
It wasn't an independent country, but a province,
inhabited by a mix of people, Arab Muslims, Arab Christians, and a small Jewish minority.
Despite differences, they lived in relative peace under Islamic rule,
where non-Muslims had protected status. But in the late 1800s,
two powerful movements emerged: Zionism and Arab nationalism.
Zionism was a political and religious movement among European Jews, fueled by increasing anti-Semitism
and discrimination across Europe.
Jewish thinkers and leaders argued that Jews needed a homeland.
For many, that homeland was the historic land of Israel,
which included modern-day Palestine. This vision was supported by influential figures like
Theodor Herzl and the growing number of Jews
migrating to Palestine in the early
1900s.
At the same time, Arab nationalism was on the rise. Arabs across the Ottoman Empire
began to see themselves as a united
people deserving of independence.
To them, Palestine was part of the Arab and Islamic
world land they had inhabited for over 1,000 years.
These two visions, Zionist and Arab, were fundamentally opposed.
Both were rooted in identity, and both were tied to the same piece of land. During World War I, the British Empire became heavily involved in Middle Eastern affairs. In an effort to win support against the Ottoman Turks,
the British made several promises to the Arabs.
They promised independence in exchange for revolting against the Ottomans. To the Jews, they issued the Balfour Declaration in 1917,
promising to support the establishment of a national
home for the Jewish people in Palestine. Behind closed doors, the British and French also signed the Sykes-Picot Agreement, secretly dividing the Arab world between themselves.
These conflicting promises created deep mistrust that persists to this day.
After the war, the Ottoman Empire collapsed.
Britain took control of Palestine under a League of Nations mandate. During this time, Jewish immigration to the area increased significantly.
Especially from Europe, Jewish settlers built communities and infrastructure, laying the foundation for a future state. But the local Arab Muslim population saw this as a growing threat.
They felt their land was being colonized and their identity erased.
Tensions escalated throughout the 1920s
and 1930s, resulting in violent riots, attacks, and eventually
the Arab Revolt
of 1936 to 1939. The British responded harshly,
and the region became increasingly unstable. World War II only intensified the situation. The Holocaust led to the deaths of 6 million Jews in Europe. Survivors had nowhere to go, and many sought refuge in Palestine. The Zionist cause gained international sympathy.
Especially in the West, Jewish migration surged again, but the British, fearing more Arab resistance, began to restrict it. Frustrated, Zionist militias turned against British authorities, attacking military targets and forcing Britain to abandon the problem. In 1947, the British handed the issue over to the newly formed United Nations. The unproposed partition plan.
The land would be divided into two states, one Jewish and one Arab. Jerusalem would be governed internationally due to its religious significance. Jewish leaders accepted the plan. Arab leaders rejected it, calling it unfair and illegal.
They believed the plan gave more land to the Jewish minority and ignored the rights of the Arab majority. In May 1948,
Jewish leaders declared the establishment of the State of Israel. Within hours, 5 Muslim-majority countries, Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and Iraq, declared war.
Israel survived,
but the war resulted in the displacement of
over 700,000
Palestinian Arabs. Many fled or were expelled from their homes. To Palestinians, this was the Nakba, or catastrophe.
By 1949, the war ended with armistice lines, but not peace.
The region was divided. Israel controlled more land than initially assigned by the unplanned. Jordan took control of the West Bank, and Egypt occupied Gaza. Jerusalem was split, and from that point on, the conflict became global.